Great to be with you. Barbara Comstock coming up in a few moments. Well, I guess we're back on good terms. We had to make up. It's all good. And Barbara fighting a good fight now, voting against the government shutdown, voting for the right thing. So we're excited to have her on. We're going to get her take momentarily. Congressman, 10th District. Democrats say she's very vulnerable, but they've only got one message. Trump sucks. That's it. That's their message. Hey, forget the economy. It's booming. Forget that. You got a job? Forget that. Your wages are up? Nah, we're not interested in that. Unemployment is down? Who cares? Your kids moving out of the basement? Forget it. Wages got up? Got a bonus? Nah, that's no good. 401k way up? Forget that. Trump sent out a tweet. We don't like it. Let's get him out of there and put us in. So we can go back to the days of 1% misery. The pit of misery. That's what the Democrats want, I guess, right? Trump economy booming along. Now he put tariffs. I am so excited today. I finally get a tariff. I finally get 2 tariffs. 50% on washing machines coming over from South Korea, right? The government subsidizing those to knock out our washing machine manufacturer industry. The president saying, no, I'm not doing that. 50% when you get into Port of Los Angeles. How do you like them apples? Revitalizing our washing machine manufacturing business, right? Like Maytag and things of that. Jobs going away. And then the Chi-Coms, well, they got the cheap labor thing going on in China. They get $1 a day in a rice ball, and they're dumping solar panels in the United States. And the president putting a 30% tariff on that. Oh, you might pay another $1.50 for your iPhone. Yeah, whatever. Okay, you're going to pay the same amount for the same what? Do you go to Maytag and it says Maytag washing machine $5.95, but this one came from South Korea, so that's only $115. No, you pay the same $5.95. Right? So you get no benefit to the consumer and you put our people out of work. Trump fighting back. Barbara Comstock coming up. Very quickly, let's go to Kathleen in Norfolk. She's been on hold a long time. Kathleen, you're on the air. Good to have you with us.
John. Good morning, John. Thank you for taking my call. Hey, lest any of the listeners minimize the importance of that washing machine. I want them all to consider, if you're wearing clean clothes this morning, it's because a washing machine washed them. Last month, my Maytag that I had for almost 18 years began having serious problems. My repairman, who's been repairing for over 35 years, came and said the cost of repair was too high. I said, okay, I guess I'll get another Maytag. And he said, no, it's made in Asia. And he said the only one that he would recommend is Whirlpool, because it's the only one that's still made in the United States. And he said it's not a great washing machine, but it's better than everything else that's made in Asia. And he said that those ones made in Asia, you're going to spend $600, and in 2 years, it's going to die. So thank you, President Trump.
All right, Kathleen, trucking the truth. Thank you. Kathleen in Norfolk, trucking the truth. We appreciate that. I'm a protectionist. I hate NAFTA. I've been fighting it for 30 years. So not everybody's on the same page with me, but I'll debate this with anybody. NAFTA's been a complete, unmitigated disaster for American manufacturing and U.S. workers. But we're not going to debate that right now with Congressman Barbara Comstock, Republican 10th District. And she is with us now. The Democrats calling her the most vulnerable Republican in the history of the globe. Congresswoman Comstock, good to have you with us.
Good morning, John. Good to be with you, and good to have the government open today.
Are you as vulnerable as everybody is saying?
Well, I think I've heard that all 5 elections and primary, I hear the same story every time. So I'll be happy to beat Lucy in the football again.
So are you going to win?
But, we're working, on important issues right now. So that's what I've always focused on, that, end up being a target. But, the real issues here are, the American people are the targets of the Democrats' policies. And we've got some great economic policies in place, and keeping the government open yesterday was the right thing to do. My Democrat colleagues in the Senate found out what Republicans unfortunately found out in 2013, which is shutting down the government is really, really bad policy, bad idea, and doesn't work.
So this whole government shutdown, I mean, look, obviously you voted with the Republicans in favor of keeping it open. You got a few Democrats there. I mean, what was your reaction to the whole thing, shutting the government down? Chuck Schumer basically affecting our military, affecting Virginia, affecting the economy, furloughing workers, affecting the fate of 9 million American children, depending on chip, all for 700,000 people that came here illegally. I mean, how do you reconcile that?
Well, you don't, and the American people didn't. And I'm the only person in this region, Democrat or Republican, that has opposed shutdowns in both Democrat and Republican administrations, because Virginia and our companies are the backbone of our national security and homeland security. I mean, Virginia Beach, Hampton Beach, our military, our tech and defense jobs all over Virginia, certainly very strong up here in Northern Virginia. We're a cyber leader. Then we're also in health IT, public-private partnerships. We support our troops and our military. So this made no sense to people, and they want to see us solving problems. And so I, appreciate that we, were able to reopen the government with bipartisan support. Now, in Virginia, you had Don Beyer up here. He opposed shutting down the government. I mean, he opposed opening it up again. And I'm not sure if he jetted off to Davos, but he was scheduled to. So these are the kind of things that the American people and Virginians need to know about. We need to be keeping the government open, obviously our military, but, our great economy. I know you talk about this. They don't want to talk about how well the economy is doing right now. The market at all-time highs. You were talking about manufacturing. We've had the best year since 2004 in manufacturing, and it's really coming back. I meet with manufacturing businesses in my district, met with one just the other day in Loudoun. He's trying to now spread his company sort of in pods all around the Commonwealth. And those are the kind of exciting things that we need to be focused on.
Well, I got to tell you, look at this, and I'm going to just call it for what it is, Barbara Comstock, Representative Comstock, the Trump economy. I mean, it's just, we haven't even seen yet the real benefits of the tax cut for either businesses or people. It hasn't been in their paychecks. That isn't going to happen until February 1st. But you look at the combination of his massive deregulating the economy, turning entrepreneurs loose, the tax cut, which is coming down and having some impact now, the other things he's done, the Dow at 26,000. When you look at the Dow at an all-time high, what you're talking about is average working people's 401k and retirement. Those are up. Kids are moving out of their basement. African-American male unemployment is at an all-time historic low, and wages are going up. People are getting bonuses. The economy is exploding, and the Democrats' response to this is to shut the government down. I mean, you got to be kidding me.
That is a message they don't want to talk about, what's going on with the economy. And it is exciting because, we have, in Virginia, where we have so much of the technology community, we're going to see jobs come back. We're going to see manufacturing come back here, really advanced manufacturing. One of the next things that we're planning on doing in Congress is, an infrastructure bill. The White House has been working on that. We've been talking with them about it. I've been working on Metro and some reforms there. I got together last night with some local business leaders and former mayor of D.C., Anthony Williams, who's supporting a Democrat, but he's supporting our reform Metro efforts. And then we're also going to do workforce development so that we take people who are here who don't have the skills, say for cyber jobs or for advanced manufacturing, and we reward our employers for training their employees and increasing their salaries. And as you pointed out, those 401ks, that's exciting for every business. And you've seen, Apple was giving people stock, and then you have federal employees who all have 401ks, from a janitor all the way up to the secretary. They are benefiting from this economy and their 401ks growing. So these are the kind of things that I think bring people together and are getting people excited as we go around and talk to our local businesses, small and large. And this is where we're going to be focused on for the rest of the year, try and cut through all the noise. The media doesn't want to cover these kind of stories where we're solving problems and getting results.
The economic results are tremendous, and that's why the Democrats Representative Comstock, they want to talk about anything but this. I really do.
Yeah, 2 quarters of over 3% growth, heading towards 4%. They said we'd never see 4% again. We're getting close. Fewer people on food stamps because we're getting them back to work. That's the exciting thing, and that's getting back to work, and then that workforce development will be advancing them and increasing their skill set, because in this economy, we know you need to be a lifelong learner, and as the economy advances, instead of being threatened by that, we need to embrace it and advance the skills of all our workers.
So what is going to be the message for Democrats? Obviously, the one in the shutdown was, we don't really care about the government. We don't care about our 9 million American children. We're really focused on 700,000 people whose parents brought them here illegally and broke the law. Those are our priority. That's what they were saying in the shutdown. Where do they go forward with this? I know you'll get a candidate that'll emerge and be campaigning on the other side of the aisle for your 10th district seat. But, what do they say? Let's go back to 1% growth and put everybody back in the pit of misery? And I'm not asking this question rhetorically. I'm asking an honest question to the Democratic Party nationally. Other than Trump sucks, all right, which worked in Virginia in 2017, what message are they going to campaign on?
Well, I think you're seeing a little of that. I know you cover my former place where I was working at the state legislature and the Virginia General Assembly, and you're seeing some of that already. And I know one of the things that we heard about was they are trying to, kind of cut into our right to work laws. Those were bills that I passed with Mark Obenshain when I was there, and they want to bring back mandated project labor agreements and really reward their labor friends. We've seen other states, like Michigan, become a right to work state. So we do not want to reverse those kind of policies, but I think you'll see some of what they're trying to do down there in Richmond, and I think a lot of that we'll want to observe and do the opposite, because we don't want to raise taxes anymore. Governor McAuliffe, as he went out the door, talked about raising taxes in Northern Virginia again. That is actually something that Democrats and Republicans have said they oppose, but he waited until after the election to drop that one on. That was actually what Tim Kaine had done when I came into the State House in 2010. He waited until after the 2009 elections and said, oh, by the way, I want to raise taxes and we want to stick it to Northern Virginia on their schools. So I think you're going to see a little bit of that. But, what we're going to focus on are these, bread and butter issues and accomplishments, transportation, getting, people home faster, lowering the tolls. We also got, the toll increases came after the election, not before. That was a big surprise, and I know you've heard from a lot of my colleagues in the State House who are working on that, but we are going to work on, getting more transportation dollars out to relieve traffic congestion in Northern Virginia, work on these workforce development issues, and, continue to grow the economy. I've got a childhood cancer bill I'm working on, as well as some, other areas in the healthcare field, because we have a lot of advances going on in cancer research, diabetes research, and we want to see improving people's lives.
Congresswoman, let's get to the president's negotiation on immigration. He's looking for long-term legislative immigration reform. And here's what he's laid out. He said he's willing to compromise on amnesty for the 800,000 DACA applicants that are in the United States now, a big change from his campaign. I get you have to negotiate. I'm in favor of that. But he says in order to do that, he wants to end chain migration. He wants to end the visa lottery. He wants E-Verify, and he wants real border security that includes funding for the wall. Those are the president's principles on immigration reform, led in the Senate by Senators Tom Cotton and David Perdue from Arkansas and Georgia, respectively. How does Barbara Comstock stand on that immigration reform package being presented by President Trump?
Well, I think you saw the outlines in that discussion when you had that public event where the president invited in the House and Senate members, Democrats and Republicans, opened it up to the press, and they had that discussion going on. And I think those are the outlines of what will be the compromise. And I do think we're going to get a solution on that. And I think you have some partisans out there, particularly, on the left, actually, who would rather have an issue than a solution. So I think you're going to see the president and House and Senate work together on this to come up with that type of compromise. Now, I think the president has also said he still wants to do immigration piece by piece, and I do support doing it in pieces like that. And I think the good thing about having a booming economy that we have right now, that it's easier to have these discussions on immigration. Look what's best for our country. Look how, what we need in our economy and what's going to work. And when you have a growth economy, it's easier to have those discussions, some of which are difficult. But you have our agriculture community, our technology community, all have issues here. And if we can kind of go piece by piece after we get this initial, the DACA and the border security, which the House has already voted a number of times for that. So I'm optimistic that we will get a compromise that I think the vast majority of people will support.
So, Barbara, are you in favor then of ending chain migration and the visa lottery system and instead going to a merit-based immigration policy in the United States? Yes. No, I think, and how that's going to fit into this initial piece with DACA and the wall and the border security. I think, that's what's still going on, but that's all focused on having a immigration system that's more focused on our economy and our needs. While still, we still have humanitarian issues that come into when we have people who are, fleeing oppression, and you have people who are helping us, helping our troops in the Mideast, who we give visas to every, translators. I met with a translator in my district who was here with the soldier who he had saved his life and saved his whole team over there. We have a process where we bring over some of those translators every year. So, there are a lot of discussions going on here, but I think you have the makings of a good compromise in the president's meeting that I think was very favorably received before. I think Dick Durbin wanted to get us off track, and I think we're back on track now. Now, I know we're on the opposite ends of NAFTA, and I know you're a free trader, so let's start there. We've only got a minute, but can you live with the president's tariffs on Chinese solar panels being dumped in the U.S. and his 50% tariff on South Korean subsidized washing machines? Is that something that philosophically you're able to live with? I haven't had a chance to look at that one, but certainly when you have dumping, that we have, even when you're a free trader, you have provisions, within our system to deal with dumping. So we've been a little focused on the government shutdown and all, but I will be taking a look at that. And, I think the exciting thing, as I was mentioning earlier, American manufacturing. We are back, since 2004, the strongest year last year. And so I think we're doing a lot of things to support American manufacturing. And I think our tax bill also, which was very strongly supported by our manufacturing community, will, I think, kind of bring people together, and we won't have, that many disagreements on these things going forward. Congresswoman, 20 minutes, and we couldn't find one thing to disagree on. This is not good radio. We'll have to figure this out. Thanks for being with us, Congresswoman Barbara Comstock. Well, a good economy brings people together, and that's, that is what is happening right now, and I think that's exciting. It's something that Republicans have, it's been a generation since we had tax reform, and now that we have such a talent economy in Virginia, and I think we're really going to be able to unleash that and have a lot of exciting things happen, and a lot of innovation, and as these companies come back. So it's going to be an exciting time. Great answer. Thank you. More information, barbaracomstock.com. You're on the John Fredericks Radio Network, Trucking the Truth Across America. We'll be right back.